Fox 5 first to tell you about a potentially lethal batch of synthetic marijuana going around D.C.
Firefighters have been flooded with calls this week about people overdosing on K2 or spice. They've linked at least 4 deaths to the synthetic drug.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the video, support the movement, support your boy. Today we're going to talk about the pandemic. Yeah, the pandemic. You're probably thinking COVID-19, right? Nah, whole different pandemic going on in that prison system. And some of you might watch this video and laugh, because I got to be honest. During this pandemic, I laughed a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. Because in the beginning stages of this pandemic, some of that shit was funny. And then it progressively got worse. You started to see people get violent, started to see people get angry, started to see people die. And that's when the pandemic became real. That's when it was like, what the are these dudes doing? And part of this pandemic, it changed the prison system, man. This is the one thing that changed the prison system all over the country. Because regular dudes became thieves. They became liars, manipulators. They became things that they weren't before. Kind of like the convict code is being thrown out the window. And I just happened to be in the system when this whole thing started. I watched it. I watched it progress. So what is the pandemic that we're talking about? For those of you that have been, behind the wall, you know what pandemic I'm talking about. At your prison, they might have called it Tucci. Might have called it Deuce or K2. Or whatever name they gave it. And what's going on in there is these dudes are smoking this K2, this Deuce. But really, in a lot of prisons, they don't even really know what it is. And what they're actually smoking is bug spray, Raid. I mean, there's other things they're getting from other countries, China and all that stuff. And it's being put on paper. It's coming in. And dudes are, making big money off of this. Some dudes are getting rich off this. It's a hustle, right? Everybody's got a hustle in prison. And some dudes are going broke. And some dudes are, destroying family ties because they're calling their family, hey, I need some money. I need this. I need that. Hey, my MP3 player got stolen. Or, hey, my MP3 player broke. Or, hey, man, I need help. I need some winter boots. Winter's starting. And the family just gets tired of it after a while. They get tired of keep sending money in. And I've seen this. I've seen dudes that used to get money every month from their family break their family down so much that they don't get nothing no more. That now they don't even got money for a suit. They don't have money for a bar of soap because of their addiction while in prison. So, I'm going to tell you a story about a kid we called Speedy, man. His name is Angel. I was cool with Angel and another dude named Boston. And this is while I was at FMC Lexington. See, that was a federal medical center. Unfortunately, I ended up going there. I had an issue with my liver, non-alcoholic liver disease, but I'm doing good now. But that's why I ended up getting transferred to that low security prison. And we had one cop in the unit for like 350 dudes, 3 flights of stairs, 3 floors. And I happened to live on Crack Alley. And they called it Crack Alley for a reason. Crack Alley was a range where all the dudes went to smoke their dope. It was all the way in the back by the bathroom. I lived one door away from the bathroom. But that's where they would get high. Because most guards, they're not walking up 3 flights of stairs to check on anybody. They could care less. The only time they really want to, and they don't want to do it at this time, is they come to do the count. They do the count at 4 o'clock, they do the count at 9 o'clock, and that's the only time you see these cats. So that's why this was, labeled Crack Alley. There was a light switch, but if you turn off the light switch, the whole alley is dark. You couldn't see a person this close to you at 11 o'clock at night because there's no lights. So anyway, Crack Alley was the place to get high. That was the place where you could hide from the cops. It was probably about 75 feet long. That's where the bathroom was. And sometimes they'd have a guy stand at the other end and watch for the cop, just in case the cop decided to walk around. Sometimes you got super cops. And the one dude would watch, make sure the cop ain't comfy. He'd whistle, and the dudes, come out of the bathroom or whatever. Unless, they were too high, they couldn't move. So on this particular day, Speedy and, Boston decided they were going to get high on Crack Alley in the bathroom. And Speedy was a younger dude, kind of like a MacGyver type of guy, helped people do a lot of stuff, could fix things, radios, lamps, fans, whatever. And he was a hustler. He worked in the kitchen. He'd hustle food. He'd make food and sell it. And Boston was just an old school convict, but he's really a crackhead. And I hate to say a crackhead, but that's how he lived his life. He lived his life to get high every single day. And his mother used to send him money, and he would use that money to get high. But eventually his mother died, and he didn't have money to get high anymore. So he resorted to doing things that people shouldn't do in prison, which is stealing. But we'll get to that in a minute. So on this particular day, these brothers are in the bathroom, they're getting high, and I hear a boom. I look out my door. The cells over there didn't lock. So I look out the door and I see Boston laying on the floor. And he's looking up. But I know immediately from his past that this dude's high as a kite and he's laid out. But the next thing that happens is Speedy, Angel, he sees his partner. They were like Mutt and Jeff. And he's high. And in his brain fog, he must have thought that Boston was having a heart attack. So he, even thinking about this makes me laugh, man. And maybe I shouldn't laugh, but man, we gotta laugh once in a while to stop from crying, right? So Speedy climbs on top of Boston and starts pumping his chest. He must have thought he was having a heart attack. And Boston's just looking at him, glassy-eyed, laying on the floor. He's got this frizzy hair down to about his shoulders. Looks like Buzzo or something. And he looks up at him, and Speedy's pumping his heart. And this is going on for 3 or 4 minutes. And it's not, I think it's registering with Boston, like, what is this dude doing to me? But he was so incapacitated that he couldn't move. And that's a dangerous position to be in prison. You know what I'm talking about? Remember them Booty Bandit videos? But anyway, so he's pumping Boston's heart. And eventually they come to it, and they realize, man, everything's all right. Boston gets up, Speedy gets up. And I ask him, I say, Speedy, what the hell you doing? And he's just looking at me. I said, what's going on, man? And he's like, I said, come here, man. I went to go towards him, and Speedy's like, so I leave these cats alone, right? Let them go on about their way. I leave. About 30 minutes later, I come back to my cell. I just happened to glance in Speedy's cell. I'm cool with both of those dudes. I don't usually go looking in people's cells. But I'm cool with Boston. I'm cool with Speedy. I look in the cell. Both of these dudes are comatose, laying on the bed. Can't get up, can't move, can't think. Can't get off the bed. But what are these dudes really smoking? I mean, some of them are smoking Raid. What? Smoking Raid? Are you kidding me? Some of them are smoking bug spray. Bug spray? How the hell are they smoking bug spray, right? Who the hell in their right mind would smoke bug spray? And when you see what happens to some of these people, you definitely should be like, I'm good. I ain't trying that shit right there. But not these dudes. These dudes are smoking this stuff on a daily basis. They're smoking pieces that are the size of an eyelash hair. And I'm talking about it's knocking their socks off. I mean, it's just, dudes that are watching this, they've been in prison, you know what it is, man. This stuff is just destroying people. But that's not the only story. When I was in Raybrook, there was 3 Mexican dudes that, they would get high, and there would be dudes that would give them a piece for free just to watch them smoke so they could laugh. And these 3 dudes, I don't know how they did it, but they would get high, and they'd stand in a cell. And the cell's not much bigger than your bathroom. And they would all be going in a circle. Bent over at the waist. But these 3 dudes never hit each other. And 2 of these dudes were cellies, right? They lived together in the same cell. And one night after the count, they do that 10 o'clock count. After the count, they decide they're going to get high. They get high. They fall out. They start puking. But they're on their backs. And they're so comatose they can't do anything. They're choking on their vomit. And it just so happens that the cop does a round. And he looks in there and sees it. Hits the deuces. And then there's all kinds of cops running into unit from all over the place. And I hear them screaming. I hear one of the cops screaming, he's fucking dead, he's dead, he's gone, he's dead. And I see him bring him down the stairs on a stretcher and they dump him on the floor. And I see the cop reaching in the dude's mouth. I mean, I wouldn't have been doing that, but he reaches in the dude's mouth. And I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And what he's doing is he was clearing the dude's airway, man. He was clearing his airway so that he wouldn't choke to death. And he tipped him on his side. And he started coughing. But when I seen the dude, I'm like, damn, this dude is dead, man. This dude's absolutely dead. But he ended up living because the cops saved him.
Yeah, part of the case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, evidence.
Well, yeah, he's on a PV for drugs.
We don't think this needs to go to the schools. This is like the new dare.
Can we just take him and put him in class?
That would be fantastic.
If you could just wheel him into the cage and wheel him back out.
But that's some of the stuff that's going on in there. I've seen dudes get high. I've seen a dude named Mark, and anyone that's been in FMC Lexington in our unit, they know exactly who Mark was. Mark was a thief, liked to steal people's stuff so he could get high. And one day he got high, and he came running all the way down from Crack Alley, all the way down the stairs, screaming, ah! We had a female cop working. He runs right in her office and jumps over her desk. And then I see the CO, I see the cop, she comes running out of the office. And he's in their office screaming, they're going to kill me. They're going to kill me. The dude was hallucinating. Absolutely outrageous. And, you know, some people say, man, them dudes ain't in there smoking no damn raid. They ain't smoking no bug spray. Well, check this out.
Interestingly enough, they spray it with a variety of things. And some of the things that is most popular, and they really like this better than the K2, is Raid and Roach Motel. Did you hear me? They're spraying this stuff on paper and then either smoking it or eating it in the county jail.
You see what he's saying? I mean, he's running his county jail. He's the sheriff, right? And he's like, look, man, they're smoking this bug spray. And if you ever see a bug, you know, like a cockroach, get a little taste of that bug spray. You ever see how they go on their back and they start shaking? Their legs start kicking. I mean, that's some toxic stuff. It's killing just a little roach, right? But when you smoke that stuff, do you think it could do that stuff to a human being? Check out this dude.
Get him away from the rack. Get him off the rack. Get him off the rack. Bring him away from the rack. Stop pouring that cold water on him. Stop pouring that cold water on him, bro. That cold water fucking him up. He done bust his mouth and everything.
You see him kicking his legs? See him swinging? He doesn't even know where he's at. You know, I always approach prison where, man, I'm not getting drunk in prison. I'm not getting high in prison because anything can happen at any given time. And you do not want to be in a vulnerable state. I mean, look at this dude. If someone wanted to rape this dude, what could he possibly do? Couldn't do nothing. Couldn't do nothing but get raped. Imagine if Dana Mattingly got a hold of this dude. For those of you who've seen the Dana Mattingly video, I mean, that's why you don't get high on bug spray, right? But what about this cat right here?
Can't get up. You can't get up. You just throw up on your shirt. Oh, no, this dude don't throw it up, man. That's the thing. Oh, he on that.
Puked all over himself, right? Puke on his shirt. He doesn't even know what's going on. He's just having a good time in his own mind. He's having a great old time in his own mind. But has anyone ever died from smoking this stuff? Yeah. People have died, man. People have lost their lives in prison smoking this stuff. And usually, unfortunately, it's usually a lot of the guys that come in with a little bit of time, 4 or 5 years. And then the warden has to call their mother and say, hey, look, sorry to tell you, your son's dead. Well, how'd he die? Well, he was smoking deuce. What? What the hell is deuce? Well, he was smoking Raid. It killed him. I mean, damn. Smoking Raid and it killed him. You would think, man, it's just killing cockroaches. It ain't going to kill me. I'm just going to smoke it. Who in their right mind is going to smoke Raid? Are you kidding me? Would you? I don't know. I don't know what the hell these people are thinking, man. It's just a crazy world, man. We're living a life inside of a world that, you know, is filled of loneliness and despair and depression, hopelessness. Maybe some of these cats just turn to that stuff as an escape from the prison, an escape from the sentence that they're serving. But it's definitely a wild thing. It's definitely a thing that's destroying the system, man, because dudes are out here sneak thieving. And when you sneak thieve, there's dire consequences, man. When you start stealing people's stuff, bad things happen. Like I said, this ain't Camp Good Days, special times. This is prison. And that's the thing about the pandemic, man, is that, dudes that normally wouldn't do certain things are doing things that, you would never expect. And they're putting themselves in jeopardy. Stealing people's stuff, doing whatever you can to get high that day. And some of these dudes go without eating. I've seen dudes sell their soap and deodorant, man. Sell their last to get high off a little tiny piece of paper. They'd rather not have soap or deodorant so that they could get high. And that's the thing. If you're getting high in prison, man, what's going to stop you from getting high when you get out? And, when you start getting high in the street, what happens next? Now you start robbing. We're going to rob a bank, end up with another case. I mean, those are things that you need to think about. But I want to take people inside the prison system today and kind of look at the pandemic. Some people wonder, why can't I send a greeting card to my loved one no more? Why can't I send a Christmas card to my husband? Why can't I send a Christmas card to my wife or a birthday card to my father? Or why do all the envelopes have to be white? Why does all the paper have to be white? That's why, because people are spraying bug spray on that shit, putting it in the printer, and then they're sending it in. And these dudes are getting high and destroying stuff, becoming violent, stealing people's stuff, and people are getting killed, man. That's why that's going on. That's why you can't send greeting cards. That's why you can't send a Christmas card. I mean, the stuff's real. Stuff ain't no, let's make some stuff up. It's real. This is what's going on. This is what's going on in our federal prison system. This is what's going on in our state prison systems. And for real, man, it's just turning the whole place into a trash can. A lot of convicts ain't convicts no more. Now they're becoming inmates. I don't use that word loosely, but I've seen convicts become inmates. I've seen people sell their souls to get high in prison. Can't even believe it. And with that, I'm out until tomorrow.